South Africa would rather focus on ridding the country of the drug dens left by Nigerians. These are the words of the South Africa's Minister of Presidency in the wake of recent xenophobic attacks on foreigners in South Africa. After the break, these and more will be looked at, discussed, digested, and analyzed by myself and my colleagues. I am Yakubu Jibrin, and this is Week in Slice on Third Eye Africa Television. Stay tuned. Thank you. Welcome back. This remains Week in Slice with Yakubu Jibril on Third Eye Africa TV. Now, before the break, we talked about a derogatory statement made by the Minister of Presidency in South Africa against Nigerians who have returned home in view of the recent xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Now, she is on record saying they will be interested in knowing where the drug dens are left behind by Nigerians. In fact, she goes on to say that the properties left by Nigerians are somewhat illegal and unregistered. Now, with me in the studio, I have my colleagues. I have Juliet by my immediate left and Fatima, my far left. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know if in the history of any bilateral relationship amongst two sovereign nations has suffered decay in the recent century or decade, to bring it closer, like the relationship between Nigeria and South Africa presently because of the xenophobic attacks. Now you have where a sitting minister of the country is making these kind of derogatory statements against the Nigerian nationals in their country. What is your take, Juliet?
You see, when it comes to the, like you tagged it right, it's actually derogating because looking at the fact that the statement already labels Nigerians as drug dealers.
Yes.
And although over the years we've been hearing of drug dealers in Malaysia, Nigerian drug dealers in Malaysia, and all that, but tagging Nigerians as drug dealers in your country, it doesn't take away the fact that also your citizens patronize those drug
Exactly.
dealers.
If we're selling, who's buying?
Exactly. And we're not just the ones buying, or we're not just the ones selling. Remember, we are saying we because we're now a country. It's now it's no longer
Nigeria.
an individual.
Yes.
It's now a collective thing. So that bilateral relation is just there is more to it.
Right.
There is more to what we see. There's more to what we're hearing. But if South Africa, the Minister of the Presidency is coming out to say that there's no room for that, and another statement she made, which isn't good for the bilateral relation, is the fact that there is no compensation of whatsoever,
Yes.
even to legal migrants living there. Imagine coming to a country and you've invested so much in the economy. You have your own business, you have your own house or makeshift camp, like she said, or whatever. You've, in a way, invested in that country.
True.
And now you're saying that there is no compensation of whatsoever. And remember, for those being repatriated, they're only entitled to 23 kg traveling. Now
Right.
imagine you spend 10 million or how much traveling to South Africa to start a new life, and
Right.
you're coming back with only something worth 23 kg. So it doesn't make sense
At
when
all.
it comes to the bilateral relation. There's something that is off, that doesn't make sense, and there's something that needs to be done. That's just my take.
Before Fatih shares her thoughts, I would like to give you a more direct question, Fatima. Do you think the Nigerian state has failed its citizen over time that would warrant such statements coming from an official of another country towards Nigerian citizens?
Well, that's a very tricky question
Right.
that needs a tricky answer.
Right.
In a way, I would say yes, because imagine the amount of graduates that we have in the
Yes.
country. that have already served the country. Now imagine the amount of undergraduates that we still have, and the ones that are still in secondary school, primary school, and we are still giving birth every day.
Right.
The lack of unemployment, the lack of, I don't know, the lack of empowerment for people who have learned skills.
Right.
Many Nigerian youths have skills that they want to harness, but due to lack of funds, financial capabilities, incapabilities rather, and so many other discrepancies, they've not been able to, hone their skill and make it into a source of living,
Something profitable.
something profitable.
Right.
So in a way, they try to, okay, fine. The most important thing, they look at it, they be like, okay, fine. Such and such country has an opportunity for me. If I go there, these are the skills I have. If I go there, I'll be able to harness them. I have the capabilities. I'll have the space to, put out to express my skills and then make a living out of it. So that's why you see every day in Nigeria want to get a skill, because when you go outside the country, let me tell you something about Nigeria that many people do not know. Let me use medical doctors, for example. Going through that, 6-7 years of university studying medicine, and then the housemanship, residency and all that, it amounts to many years. Now when you go to other countries, there's a lot of developed technologies that are being used to teach them this skill of medicine. And then at the end of the day, most people out there use machines and different types of technologies to help, to help their work. But in Nigeria here, if you notice something, most of us that have gone to, or anybody that has studied in Nigeria will know one thing. You are being taught the technicalities. You are being taught, I don't know how to put it, but like you don't use, there's technology quite okay, but they use more of, I'm trying to look for the word.
The expression you're looking for is we're still in the analog, not
yes,
digital.
We use more of analog.
Right.
And I think that I'm not saying is not a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying and I'm not saying that using technology is a bad thing either. But I think using that analog, the old way of teaching has made us more valuable in many other countries. It's now as if when you even show someone your skill, they'll be like, this is what you've learned. You'll be like, they see you differently because you've surpassed, you don't use technology. So people out there are looking for Nigerian youth to, and that is what is causing the hatred so much. And many people are, and that's another thing that's making people running away from the country, because they want to use their skill to make something profitable for themselves. That's why I said, in a way, yes, the country has failed its citizens, because and not to talk about insecurity. Someone now these days, when you're going out of your house, even in the city centers, all the cities that we have in the country, you're scared of going out because you don't know if you go out whether you will come back home.
And I think there's this analogy that has been going on in Nigeria that if you're traveling by road, your transport fare might be 50,000, but it can rise up to 50 million.
Exactly.
So we have outlined some things. Right.
But just so I
okay, do you want to add?
No, right, what Fatima has said on if the government has failed. Of course, I wouldn't say, like you said, it's tricky. The government has actually put its effort. We cannot take it away from the
But
government.
Is it enough?
That's why I said in a way.
It's not about being enough. You see, there is something about putting water in a basket.
Okay.
So when the government is also making policies that would hold its institutions, hold its enforcement. But you see, when there is a one-sided story, when there is just one-side effort, I don't think it's enough.
Okay.
And then also looking at I would always say the media plays a lot of role in this.
True.
Looking at our movie industry, looking at, not just Nollywood, Hollywood. Looking at the picture that is being painted
of Nigerians. Yes.
So that alone, even if in South Africa, Nigerians are not the perpetrators of drug dealers or whatever, but because when they say Nigeria, they're like, oh, Yahoo boys, drug dealers,
Yeah.
this and that. So
Mm.
that picture has already dented whatever efforts the government is trying to do. Yes, there are loopholes by the government, insecurity. Some people are leaving the country because the space is not, there's no what they call it, enabling space.
Mm.
That's what they call it.
Mm.
So when they leave the country, they are at the hands of whoever and whatever.
Okay.
So I would add that the media plays a lot, and
Right.
not just the government.
Right. Rightfully said. Thank you for your input. Now we'll move on to another story that is similar in some way to what we've just discussed. Now, a 38-year-old South African lady, Miss Will Jessica Ann, has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Now, this said lady was traveling into Nigeria from Cambodia through Doha and Nigeria, and then she got intercepted. Now, it was seen on her 5.75 kilos of heroin. Now, I know some people would say,
I mean,
if you are pointing a finger at someone
Yes,
for
he-
pointing back at
But
you,
permit me
Yeah.
to use a layman's language. Some
Yeah.
people will say "Thor."
right? So, I think it's a case of give and take, in the sense that if I'm apportioning blames to someone, I should always look inward, because in my own house, I might have someone perpetrating the same evil and extending to the next person.
Mm.
So how do you think now this plays on the international scene that is talking about South Africa still and Nigeria? When a minister goes on record saying Nigerians are this and that, and here we are, you're a very citizen, caught in our country with the same substance you are
Yeah.
accusing us of being masters
Mm.
in distribution. So I don't know.
In large quantity.
Very. With a 3-year-old son.
You see, this is reminding me of one statement to say, "He who must come before equity must come with a clean hand," or something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
So I feel South African government would play blind eyes to this,
Mhm.
because it's more like, okay, you have one, we have many.
Abi,
So
I get.
I don't know. It's just, I wouldn't say it's a slap in the face of South Africa, the
Mm.
minister of the presidency.
Mm.
I wouldn't say it's a slap, but it's a reality that, look, it's not just Nigerians. We're not the drug dealers. It's
Mm.
not just just one part of the country, one bad egg.
Right.
That's
That
corrupting your
represents the
country.
whole. Yes.
So this is also saying that even after Nigerians, let's say they evacuate all Nigerians in South
Mm.
Africa,
Mm.
that's to say that you're also going to suffer from your own citizens.
True.
That's just what it implicates.
True.
And that's my take on that.
And then, before Fatima responds, and there's something with market. If a certain distributor or marketer is off the board, another rises. It's in the case of terrorism, which we'll be looking at shortly after this. If you cut the head of a snake, another one is said to, grow. So Fatima, what do you think Nigerians and South African governments should pick from this story? Because it goes to show that really bad eggs are everywhere.
Well, just like she said about equity and coming with clean hands.
Right.
There's another saying that says, those who live in glass
Glass house
houses
don't throw
shouldn't throw
stones.
stones. One thing is, in every country in the world, every state, you will surely find such bad eggs.
True.
It doesn't have to be Nigerian or South
a certain
African or a
nationality,
certain
yeah.
part of the world.
Mm.
It's just that there's always those people. They are the users. They are sellers. They are distributors. It's like a syndicate, a market chain.
It
It's
is
a
a
market.
syndicate, really.
It's a market on its own.
Right.
And these and so many things like that. So in every country you go, there must be, perpetrators of crime.
Right.
Even before Christ and after Christ, there was,
It was
even
there.
during Christ,
Mm.
there were still. Last if we check the story in the Bible of the the word crucifixion of Christ. He was
It
nailed on
was
the cross with
with in
two
between two thieves.
between
Right.
two thieves.
Right.
So if during Christ, someone who is preaching righteousness, there are thieves, then who are we, the rest of the world? So there, every country, every state, every era, every generation, they are perpetrators of crime, and they are passing it down. And yes, many countries are fighting seriously and diligently to wipe those criminals out of their country, but it's not easy, because each time before you wipe one out, they've already corrupted another one. It's
Sure.
just like when you pack a bunch of eggs in a basket, and before you think of removing the bad one, it has already corrupted
the
one.
rest, yeah.
So it's like that, and it's not something that it's not something that it should cause a rift, or it's not something that should be something that would be like when we were kids we call it two fighting. When two people are fighting, so it's not something we should be fighting and pointing fingers at each other for. So it's something that we should all fight against it in our countries
together.
Not pointing finger. No, you are the drug dealer in my country. And Nigeria shouldn't even, I don't advise Nigeria as a country or the citizens to point fingers at South Africa and say, okay, oh, this is your turn now. Okay, as someone has been caught in our country, what do you think? I don't even advise Nigerians to do that. Let's just fight this thing together. But I don't know if South Africans are ready to fight together with other African countries, seeing that they are making sure that both the legal and illegal migrants leave their country. So let's just see what is it that the bilateral relations meeting and whatever the probe. Last week the Senate said they were going to do a fresh probe. I don't know how many times they want to do fresh probes.
Exactly.
But
no
actions. But let's wait what this probe is going to bring out. With the probe, the bilateral relations meeting and everything, let's see what is going to come out of it. Are we still going to be in relations with South Africa, or do we cut ties with them? And even this morning, was from yesterday to this morning, there's a news going around where ECOWAS, some countries are prompting ECOWAS to go to the African Union and report South Africa and tell them, okay, this I think is the ambassador from Mali, if I'm correct, permit me if I'm wrong. They want to, they are telling ECOWAS to go to the African Union and tell them, okay, this is what is going on. And I think Ghana is in support, Nigeria is in support. So all these things, let's see what the results are going to be, and then we'll be able to take it from there. I just pray that whatever they are going to do is going to bring out good results for both South Africa and Nigerians.
Right. We have thoroughly enjoyed this segment as we're about to go on the break. And I hope, my viewers, you have enjoyed as well. We'll take a short break. We're about to talk about more.
suka ce duk wanda ya zauna a inuwar beguwa lalle ya sha suka shi komari da akwamuri kowa ya sani sai kuliya ta yanke hukunci ita ko ta adar makwarwa ban kado abin da ke karkashin kasa idan an yi kushe rege da kirin kidima ina ta'adi da ta'addanci ya samu sukuni to idan har tsoro baya ba wa tsaro shi ke sa ba a jingina tufaniya a jikin danga kaga ashe babu dalilin karan kadama da karan tsaye a harkar tsaro malam ɗaliban zaren na ina ya abin yake sai an cire tsawuriya a idaniya sadai kaji tasha mai bankado da abubuwan da ke karkashin kasa kan harkar tsaro da badakala sadai beguwa mai duro mai bankado manyan laifukan ta'addanci a kasa Najeriya da kasashen Afirka sadai ita muke wa kirari taskira a gefen adudu a dakar mai daki kwalkwala babban kundin ilimin bankade da tankade na manyan miyagun laifuka dan gyaran kasa kalli ka gamu allan tibinka yadda muke warware zare da abawar ta taburtsar da ke karkashin kasa na masu doro da dukunkuni na masu gudun katta bara su binne tashar Sadai TV ta bankado ta fayyace Sadai ragumin namiji ko ina kika faɗi ba baya.
Right, welcome back. This remains Week in Slice with Yakubu Jibrin on Third Eye Africa TV. Now, before the break, I and my colleagues have tried to throw more meat to the carcass of some news making rounds around Africa. Now we'll go into somewhat a more, home-based issues and topics, and we'll try to analyze them for us. So on this segment now, we're talking about these troops, the Nigerian troops in the front line, who have somehow found out that there's a foreign influence with regards to the insecurity situation of the nation. Now, the Captain Goni further disclosed that neutralization of a terrorist cameraman during the failed assault led to the recovery of a Sony camcorder, which he says has some footages of propaganda materials. He explained that preliminary forensic analysis of the last available video recorded prior to the attack indicated that the operation was coordinated by 4 senior ISWAP commanders alongside 3 foreign facilitators. Are we going to see an end to insecurity in Nigeria as a whole? Because it's almost a case of we're chasing our own very tail. Because I think there was one of these, I think it was Buratai, just the past this and that was on record saying that the Nigerian government know these terrorists by name and location. Having said this now, why does it seem to be like we are fighting a war that doesn't exist? Now, we're hearing that we have foreign influence. Of course, we know, because these people cannot manufacture weapons of mass destruction and IEDs for their operations by themselves. Of course, we knew before now that they were getting supplies. I think there was a record sometime, I think the past administration, during the late Muhammadu Buhari's regime, where we saw a video where a helicopter was seen dropping supplies for them in the bush. So now coming out to say this, it's like we're playing an old record, like something we've heard before, but with different lyricism. So I don't know, Juliet, what is the angle that you choose to see this statement?
For this particular story, the angle is always the same.
Okay.
Like you said, this is not the first time.
Right.
The other time, it was more like, I think that was the End Bad Governance protest,
Right.
where they said there were Russian influence in hijacking the protest here. And then we've had instances of sponsors, we've had instances of foreign links and all that.
Right.
It's not news, And you said it's like we're fighting a war that doesn't
exist, right?
Truly, we are really fighting a war that doesn't exist. Because if the war really exists, we would have ended it. But it doesn't exist because we are the one fighting. We are the one causing the whole war. If really insecurity, we want insecurity to end. I mean, you have the commanders, you have the links, you have the sponsors. You go for the main. See, there is hierarchy to this thing. You don't go fighting the foot soldiers when the sponsors are still there.
Right.
So you go for the main sponsors. Then the foot soldiers will bow.
True. If they're not getting supply, obviously.
If they're not getting supply,
Right.
and if through this this operation where they have uncovered foreign links, there's need for intelligence, not just coming out say, oh, we've uncovered this, we've done this and that. What comes next? We always want to see the result. Okay, you've done this and that. I would really give a thumbs up to our military agency,
Troops.
security agency,
Right.
and all that. They're really doing a wonderful work. But the thing is, after the arrest, after the operation, what next? How do we see the end to these perpetrators, to these sponsors? That's what that's an end to the war.
Right.
Without that, there's no war. We just keep assuming.
Right. And now it is on record that some of these foreign nationals are somewhat farther away from our region, but still have found a way to somehow put their claws in our economic situation, as it were. Now, those people that were seen, that are part of these international bodies, facilitators, so to speak, they include a Palestinian Arab identified as Abu Ishaq. That is one. Then there is one Moroccan Arab, also identified as Abu Taba, who happens to be a medical doctor, who works with these people. Now, Fatih, if we're seeing people of this caliber and distance from our locality, how do you then think we go about, or the government goes about, fighting and stopping these facilitators? Because, like Juliet rightfully said, if you can cut off the supply chain from the foreign bodies, the food soldiers would definitely bow. So how do you think the government would or should go about cutting these ties from, the foreign bodies?
Well, I'm not making any allegations,
Right.
but is it just the foreign links?
Okay.
Speculations have been. I'm taking the minds of Nigerians here.
Right.
There are speculations that this isn't just about the foreign links or terrorism. There are some people who are actively involved in terrorism that are actually allegedly our leaders.
That's the Nigerian government.
The
our leaders.
Nigerian
Right.
government, yes,
Right.
allegedly,
Right.
so that nobody will come for me. But yes, so that's why I asked the question: is it only the foreign links?
Mm,
Because just like Juliet said,
mm,
the sponsors might not just be the foreigners.
mm.
They can be from this country.
Okay.
They might not even be our leaders.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
They might be people who have affluence,
Mm.
influence in government
Mm,
and many other places of importance in the
Right.
country.
mm,
And many Nigerians are also speculating and even arguing about it, or
mm.
some are even certain, which I don't advise you to be certain because you do not have evidence,
Right.
that there are some of these some of these terrains that the terrorists usually operate around
Right.
have some kind of precious minerals that the people the those people of importance actually want. So
Mm.
they try to shield those places by using
Using the bandits
terrorism,
to
by
chase
using the
away the
bandits.
occupants.
Yes, exactly. So now, coming to the foreign links,
Right.
one of the let me not make just like I said, I don't want to make any allegations,
Mm,
but I think one of the biggest problems we have in Nigeria
mm.
currently and for many years back now
Right.
is our porous borders.
True.
If the borders are not as porous,
Mm.
then maybe these foreign people will not have so much influence
Dominance,
or
yeah.
dominance in the country.
Mm.
If you go to many places these days, you see so many immigrants that from seeing them,
Undocumented.
they are undocumented.
Right.
Exactly. So those are the things that are to be curbed out.
Mm,
If they can fix our borders,
Yes.
that is number one. And the borders doesn't just stop at the Nigeria border or so many
The
others.
Cameroon. and-
Cameroon.
Yeah.
It can also be from the airport. You
Okay,
understand?
okay.
From immigration.
Right.
Do Nigerians actually reject people's
Visas,
visas and
applications.
applications
Mm.
and all that? Do you usually do your investigations? What are
diligence.
the purpose of their visit?
Right.
Do they come for business? What did they come for? You
Mm.
understand? Those are the things that they need to be checked.
Thank you, Fatih. So now we'll go to some somewhat related topic when we talk about stakeholders urging the president to assert the same efforts they use in freeing and rescuing the Oyo abducted students and their principals. Now, it is said that some stakeholders, which we have about the northern groups of elders, saying that yes, the president did well and they should do, the same. They should put the same effort in other regions of the nation. Now we have parties also, political parties that have come up talking about the Young Progressive Party, that's the YPP, and then we have the regional and socio-cultural bodies, that's the Middle Belt Forum and the like, saying that the president did well. Now, it's a different thing for you to, in an instance, do well. Now we need it elsewhere. Now, quickly and in a quick note, please, let's just tell the viewers our little 2 cents on this issue.
Okay, to just add to that, it's same thing. Yes, the president did well, but we should also not forget other kidnapped victims. A lot of
Right.
people, even the state governor has said that they need to be a probe. He has asked the United
The UN,
Nations
yeah,
to probe that abduction and also the
the
release,
rescue,
because
yeah.
there is something shady. So people are asking.
I think I
what
have a
about-
different question for Fatih.
Exactly.
Carry
People
on.
are asking, what about the 78 people,
Mm.
students abducted in Asipara? What
Right.
about 176 women?
Mm,
So there are a lot of kidnapped victims that nothing has been done.
right.
Why Oyo State?
Okay.
So
Good.
whatever that was done for Oyo should also be replicated.
Yes, across board. Now, Fatih, quickly. While in training, for media, they will tell you the use of English. Now, this Oyo case, do you see it as a rescue or a release?
Yakubu, I don't know why you've been attacking me since this program. Do you want to put me in trouble?
Something like that, but not
As an
really.
expert.
Yes.
I'm not an expert.
Mm,
Media expert.
I'm not an expert.
right. So,
But well, Nigerians have been debating it.
mm,
Some say release, some say rescue.
mm,
We still don't know.
Mm.
And that is why I'm supporting the probe
okay,
by the Oyo State governor
from the UN.
from the UN.
Right.
Let's know what's happening.
Mm,
Many people have been doing compare and contrast.
yeah.
Some people will take pictures of the there's some people took pictures from the Ekiti kidnap and rescue,
Mm.
and also the was this kidnap and release or kidnap and rescue?
Well, some places you see rescue,
Some
places
people
you
say
see,
and they compared it to the
Other
ones of the
cases. Okay.
Oyo State, and they were like, these ones look more fed. So
Yeah,
those ones, they are also going through trauma.
right.
We don't know what they are going to say
Mm,
yet.
mm.
So we are waiting for the probe.
Mm.
But before then, just like you said, Kayama, there are about 175 women that have been kidnapped. They've not been. And before then, not to talk about the Borno State
Mm,
children
yes.
that were kidnapped.
Right.
And so many others like that have not
Right.
been, released. And with that, I want to commend the Kogi State government
Okay.
for the release of the
Okay, Neko.
NECO,
Right.
rescue rather of the
Right.
NECO student,
Mm,
and which bring me to say that
Mm.
people should make investigations very well of their examination centers.
yes.
Many
Before.
we need to talk about this misconduct in the
Mm.
education system one of these days.
Okay.
So we need to find somewhere to put it
To
into
slot it,
to slot
yeah.
it inside.
Got
So
you.
they need to do something because of this, want of getting miracle centers to write
Mm,
exams and so
mm.
many other things. And at the end of the day, you go to one kind of village that you don't even know the name
you
or
don't know
you don't know anybody.
Yes, in case
And
anything
That
happens, you
happened
can't-
to you.
yeah.
What would you
True,
do?
true.
So that goes without saying.
Right. First off, before we go, I would like to appreciate you two for being a part of this episode. And I know we're going to have more moving forward. I hope you have been informed and you found this interesting enough. Now, this remains Week in Slice with Yakubu Jibrin on Toda Africa TV. See you next time. Thank you.